Hey Waffle Gang, I do hope you're well. My name is Mark and today we're checking out some more Reddit stories, and if you do love a Reddit story, why not consider hitting that like, subscribe, maybe that notification bell too, and let's crack on with today's first story. Much love guys. Now today's first story comes from a throwaway account from the Am I the Arsehole Here subreddit that says, Am I the Arsehole Here for telling my boyfriend that his daughter is not allowed in my apartment because she does not stop smuggling peanuts in. I can't have any contact with peanuts and I'm terrified of them due to some bad experience with me ending up in the hospital. I have my shots now on me all the time. It's not exactly airborne, but I could have irritation, and if I, for example, touch something that could have been in contact with peanuts, I could have swollen eyes and an itchy nose and throat. Ingesting is fatal. She is 14 and has no respect whatsoever for my anxiety. My boyfriend and I moved in and she lives with us every other week. Now, I told my boyfriend that I don't want her here because she is not respecting my boundaries. That I understand that he doesn't want to live with me. In that case, we could revert back to him being with me when he doesn't have his daughter. He got very upset because he said that he loved me and wanted a real relationship and to live in one home. So I told him that maybe he should be with someone who isn't allergic then. He thinks I'm being very unfair. He said, well, she'll probably hate the next one too, and the next because she wants her mum and me to be together again, so it wasn't me specifically that she dislikes. I said that maybe he needs to take a break from dating then until she is on board, but he said that he couldn't be single just because his daughter wants him to. Before me, he was single for 6 years, and that wasn't good enough. Before we decided to move in together, we have done some trial living together and never once did his daughter do anything about the nuts. But now 4 months, she has always peanuts with her. I don't know why she is doing this. I thought we were cool. She just smirks and says, maybe if you're so allergic, maybe you ain't meant to survive. A stand-up comedy bit from Louis C.K. Now for me, I kind of had the feeling it was going to go down the allergy line and you're not the arsehole whatsoever. He told you that you're being unfair for protecting yourself from someone who's trying to intentionally do you harm. And my biggest worry is that, she's so blasé about this, that she's one of these people, and I know it's going to sound ridiculous, but doesn't take your allergy seriously and possibly doesn't believe how serious your allergy is and is going to test it at some point and put a peanut in something that you're going to eat, and then there's going to be devastating consequences from that. And dad is not respecting it and at the same time putting it on you. You need to ask yourself, is this what you want from someone in a relationship? But ER vet surgeon says not the arsehole, but you need to leave this relationship. She thinks it's funny and he doesn't care. The amount of disrespect for your health is amazing. Rule says this. He's allowing this instead of getting to the core of it and putting the child in therapy where she clearly belongs. She's plenty old enough to know this can kill someone, and to have complete disregard over this shouldn't be overlooked. You may love this guy, but I'm betting you love breathing more. Wandering Gemini quotes that last bit and says this, you cannot love someone when you are dead. The boyfriend doesn't seem to realize how serious the no peanuts thing is. This is non-negotiable. Your home should be your safe space. She doesn't respect that and he doesn't hear you or doesn't care enough. Throw them out, OP. Sweeper of Chimney says not the arsehole. She's all but said she's attempting to kill you with peanuts. Quoting a comedian doesn't make it funny or acceptable. He hasn't bothered to search her and divest her of the nuts when he picks her up either. OP says he offered this as a suggestion. Visitation before she entered my apartment, but I don't want this kind of life. I was fine only seeing him on his weeks off, but I understand that he wants something more permanent than meeting every other week, so he probably should find another woman. Substantial Shoe says you are definitely not the arsehole. Self-preservation is always a good thing. You deserve to be cherished and celebrated. She's willing to murder you to force her parents back together, and your boyfriend doesn't give a shit about you if he allows this. ETA, please keep track of your pens. I keep having flashes of the scene from Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Oh, that movie, man, that was always a flashback. The nanny emptied all of the boss/mum's inhalers. That and the post about the boyfriend hiding the OP's pens and trying to feed her what she is allergic to. And one more comment which says, "I'm sorry." His daughter smirks and says maybe you're not meant to survive, and he thinks you're being unfair. Wait, my bad, very unfair. He essentially thinks you need to suck it up and risk death because she'd probably hate the next one too. Honey, kick that mess to the curb while thanking whatever higher power you might believe in that this brat hasn't managed to send you to the hospital. Peanut allergies absolutely are not something to mess with. Emphatically not the arsehole. So OP comes in with her update and says, "Hi everyone, thank you so much for really caring about a stranger with a dilemma. I was glad that I wasn't wrong in my guts. I told my boyfriend that I wanted to break up. He was very sad and tried to reason with me. He suggested that we could live separately. His daughter will soon be an adult. I told him that being 18 doesn't guarantee that she leaves the nest, nor that he stops being a father either. Anytime she should come across hardships and wants to move home, and she needs to find that home, she couldn't have it with me. And about living separately, while it is fine now and some few years ahead, what about the future?" He was silent and listening to me. I felt overwhelmed because I love him. He said that the only way his daughter will be happy is when he is alone. She's in therapy, but she has not shown any regards for her father or his life. She seems to not see him as an individual with feelings. He's just a father. I didn't know what to tell him and just said that she probably needed time to grow up. Until he moves out, his daughter is not allowed in my apartment. She called and threw a tantrum about her father choosing me instead. That she has the right to live with her father every other week and this shouldn't change. I didn't say anything. They need to fix this as a family. I'm not part of this family anymore. He rented his apartment for a year's contract, so I don't know how he will manage to find a new or terminate the lease so he can move back to his old apartment. Anyway, he's staying here for a couple of months. I'm very sad that this beautiful relationship has come to an end, but I need to think about myself now. A couple of comments from the top of that one. Anuj says, "Know you made the right choice for you, your health, your safety. As someone said in your other post, you may love him, but you probably love breathing more. I think you're right about his daughter never accepting his partners. He needs to address this with her in therapy. I hope her therapist knows about the peanuts because her behavior is truly disturbing. I'm so sorry your relationship had to end." And Commercial Ask replies to that one saying, "I feel so bad for you and your boyfriend. I feel like he is stuck between a rock and a hard place regarding his daughter. I know people are saying that he should discipline her or this and that, but it sounds like it wouldn't work and that she would likely escalate. I work with kids like her. Hoping her not being able to live with her dad the next few months will be a wake-up call for her, but in my experience, I doubt it. Good luck to the both of you, especially him, as he has to deal with the fallout. Not your money, not your circus anymore." And for me as well, I think Obi did absolutely the right thing here. Imagine living in your own home, knowing someone might be sneaking peanuts in, could be doing anything, and has that kind of attitude towards you as well. Doesn't care about your safety to the point that something really devastating could happen. That's no way to live in your home, your own safe space like that. That's terrifying. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. Now, our next story comes from the Relationship Advice subreddit from Old Cranberry 2783 and says, "My husband says our house will never be mine. How do I move past this? Me and my husband have been married for almost 1 year and have been together for 7. I work a job in media where he works as a therapist of sorts. We've been living in my inherited home that has been in my family for many years. Over the past few years, we have both agreed the house and the location is just not ideal. The housing market being what it is, we've sucked it up and continued to live here. Recently, we were offered to purchase my husband's family home. It's a good house that needs a lot of work, but I'm confident we can do what we need to for under $15,000 in renovations. So we're planning to move there and begin renovating. We were both happy and excited until the other day when we were talking about it. Out of nowhere, he told me, I want you to know, this house will never be yours. If we divorce or anything, you will have no right to live there anymore. And I found this hurtful and odd. This was never a discussion in the years we have lived in our current home. I would never plan on taking his family home if we were to separate, but it felt like a stab to the heart, especially when we're trying to have kids. I told him it would be a marital asset since I'm paying half the mortgage and half the renovations. I would never fight you for the house, but I don't plan on getting divorced. This made him very upset. He said he would rather not move if there's a chance a judge would determine I had any rights over the home. Was I wrong? How do I move past this with him? Now this would definitely give me pause for thought as well. I mean, where did that come from? What's he been thinking? All these thoughts would be going in my head about what's going on in his mind for that to come out of his mouth in that particular moment. And he's been quite happily living in your inherited home. It's been in your family for very years, so it's just a reverse of the situation, and now he's not happy with it. And it certainly made me think about everything as a whole, but if you do continue, I'd certainly be discussing the finances towards his house, who's paying for what, etc. if he's going to fight you or whatever happens down the road. But I hate you says, so from what I understand, it's a family home, but you're paying on the mortgage halvesies and paying to renovate. And he said no to you having ownership at all. Then hell nah. He can purchase it on his own, renovate it on his own, and keep yours as a backup from this point forward. Rent it out and you keep that income. Opie says this opened my eyes. We're definitely going to have another conversation about how we would go about this purchase. RNG says this is a huge red flag. He's been living in your, paid off I'm guessing, family home. You're about to buy his family home together, and he doesn't want you to have any ownership. Here's what I would do. 1. Don't sell your family home. Instead, rent it out. Market being what it is, for side income. Do not add his name to the deed. Do not use any of the profits towards purchasing his family home. 2. Separate your finances stat. Have a joint income where you each put in X% of your paycheck for joint bills such as groceries, utilities, insurance, etc. 3. Tell him you will agree his family home is 100% his on one condition. The entire purchase, including repairs, now need to come out of his pocket, not yours, not the joint account, and you will not be paying mortgage. If he doesn't agree, don't move in. 4. Side-eye him. He's shown you who he is. Depending on how he moves forward, this might be the end of the road for me. And one more comment which says, okay, that's fine. Then I want you to understand that you can buy the house on your own and you pay the mortgage and every cent it will require. I'm your wife and I will just live there like you've lived in my house. Then says that's the only possible response. You're married, so I doubt he has a legal leg to stand on in most states, but it's the mentality that is more disturbing. Who is paying for your house? Is there a mortgage? Who pays the bills or maintenance or taxes for the last 7 years? Your inherited house is literally just yours if you want to make it so, given you got it before you were married and it's inherited. But this next house isn't just his. But if he'd like to make it so, then it should be in writing, and in turn, you can just live there and pocket the rent from your current house, ensuring he gets none of it. What a terrible attitude towards marriage your husband has. So OP comes in with her update and says, so there was a lot of questions from many people who saw my last post, so I figured I would answer some of them and also update on the situation. My family home was inherited. There was no mortgage. We paid our bills and taxes evenly between the two of us, and same with any repairs the home needed. His mother is selling us the house at a $25,000 discount from what she listed it for on the market. My husband was not on the deed to my family home. This was not going to be sold. It is a home that has been passed down exclusively to family members at virtually no cost, though a mortgage hasn't been held on it in many decades. The house will be going to my sister as she is welcoming her second child soon. Now for the update. Me and my husband agreed to go to breakfast together this morning since our Mother's Day plans didn't start until lunch. At breakfast, I brought up the topic of the house we are going to buy. I told him about how things he said hurt my feelings and made me insecure about where he stands in our marriage. He told me after seeing his dad lose his family home in a divorce, it was scary to think our kids could possibly lose it if we were to separate. He apologized and told me he never ever thought of getting a divorce, that nobody does until it's happening. He said he was wrong to say the things he did and that he let anxiety control the way he spoke and it was unfair to me. We agreed that I would be put on the deed and agreed to start the process of a post-nup agreement. for the home among some other things. I addressed feeling like maybe he had a feeling he was going to leave or cheat, and that's why he was so defensive. He felt hurt by that and told me that that was his fear when getting married, that he would be cheated on or worse, have kids involved in that mess. I told him I felt the same. We both agreed the most comfortable we would feel would be us both being on the deed to the home and getting a post-nuptial agreement with an infidelity clause. We are both anxious people, and I understand where he was coming from with wanting that. It stung a bit at first that he wanted an infidelity clause, but we agreed it would do nothing but benefit us both if either of us were to go beyond our marriage in that way. So, TLDR, we are both being put on the deed. We are getting a post-nuptial agreement plus infidelity clause, and we had a very mature and emotional conversation about how we felt. Thank you for all the advice. It gave me a very good idea of what to research before I brought it up to him, and we're setting up a meeting with a lawyer to start the process on Monday. So Jack says to that one, I'm glad that everything seems to have worked out. Opie says very much so. I think I was being a bit dramatic about the things he said, and he was a bit harsh and not thinking through what he said. It happens to the best of us, but my mind is put at ease now, thankfully. Call Me replies that saying, I don't think you were being dramatic at all. You were protecting yourself. Good for you. Since you are newly married, this is a really great lesson for you both. Learn to communicate. Turn to each other when you're upset about something. Meaning, don't complain about your spouse to friends. You talk to him and figure it out together. Great outcome. And I think the majority of the comments on that update were saying communication for the win, etc., etc. There are a couple of reservations from some people, concerned about the relationship's future, etc. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below, and let's move on to another story. And our next story comes from the Am I the Arsehole subreddit from NoResident9906. Doesn't have an update as yet, just to warn you. And it's titled, Am I the Arsehole for telling my sister-in-law that she is an idiot for expecting her family to be as generous with gifts for her marriage as they were for mine. When I married my husband, we had a smallish wedding. 150 guests. Trust me, that's small for our families. We paid for everything ourselves. Altogether, we spent about $25,000. It was in our budget and we'd saved up for it, and that included everything. My dress, the wedding party's dresses and tux rentals, catering, you name it, we paid and it came in under budget. Our guests were family and close friends, the way it should be, and they were generous with gifts, both from our registry and cash in envelopes. When everything was said and done, our house was filled with great stuff we needed, and our savings were several $1,000s over where we started before we paid for the wedding. My husband's sister just eloped in February, and nobody found out about it until early April, when she sent out links to her wedding registry. Not too many people have bought anything off of it yet, and she's getting upset about that. All she talks about whenever we speak is about how cheap everyone is. Every conversation leads back to the same topic. After more than a month of this, I have had enough. I asked her if she understood why we got gifts when I married her brother, like at our physical wedding that took place at a church and then a reception at a rented ballroom. She said I was treating her like an idiot and that she understood the difference between our weddings. I asked her why she would expect the same treatment for two very different events. I said that only an idiot would think the outcome would be the same in both situations. She is mad at me. My husband said he was also frustrated with her stupidity, but that I should apologize for calling her an idiot. No Lavishness leaves a comment on this one saying, not the arsehole. Ask her if she sends gifts to all the birthday parties she isn't invited to attend. Unbreakable Man replies to that says, or even told about. Plastic Cat replies again saying, for 2 months. Ika Girl says, while you're 100% correct on everything you said, it is usually not considered a nice thing to do to call someone an idiot. You may have been able to phrase it a little gentler or maybe have brought it up sooner, so it did get to your breaking point. You should probably clear the air with the idiot remark, and I thought that comment was going to say, you should probably clear the air with the idiot, and just stop there. Anyway, you should probably clear the air with an idiot remark, and then head home to use one of your awesome wedding gifts. Very slight arsehole, though I am smiling at what you said because it was a great response to her comment that you were treating her like an idiot. Signal Permit says you're the arsehole only slightly, but only because I don't understand why you felt the need to interject into a pity party to call her an idiot. To be clear, she is an idiot. But you could have kept that to yourself. If being around her complaining was too much for you, then you should have tried spending less time around her. That survey replies that sentence, so people should annoy you repeatedly and not say anything. If it's a stranger, you can just walk away, but with family and friends, sometimes you have to tell the truth. Stop with the sensitivity. People need to know, so people learn. If you're always the bigger person, you're always the person who gets dumped on. How do you know when you're not doing some things right? Someone tells you, and hopefully you go, "Oh, I'm sorry, I will do better next time." Isn't it better for crap people to learn than have to constantly repeat the bad behavior? And I agree with all of these comments, but I'm definitely in the middle like that hiker girl was. Yes, I don't blame OP for actually calling her an idiot in the end. I don't really care. And I think, like the last commenter said, that people do need to learn. And I totally agree that family should be able to tell family when you're doing something wrong. That's a part of learning. That's a part of family life. That's a part of communicating. But calling someone an idiot can go all sorts of ways. And it very much depends on how it's said. I call friends idiots, and it depends how it's said. Sometimes I go like, "Oh, you're a bloody idiot," kind of thing, And it's a bit of banter, it's a bit of fun, it's never taken as a bad way. Or you could call someone, "You're a fucking idiot," which comes across in a completely different way. Will cause all sorts of shit, and you have to ask yourself, like I ask myself sometimes, yes, you want to deal with situations, but do you also want the drama in your life? Do you want this argument to fester? Do you want it to cause a bigger thing in the family? Yes, we don't sit back and allow this behavior, but we can come across it in a different way if you like. Will calling the person an idiot, what will it achieve in the end? Where will this go? Are they likely to just be pissed off at me and retaliate and cause some sort of family drama? Will calling them an idiot make them sit back and learn? I don't think it would in this situation. And I think sometimes just choosing your battles is a good tactic. Looking into this story, me commenting, yeah, I can very easily say, yeah, call her an idiot. She is an idiot. Totally agree with you, etc., etc. I can say that because then I didn't have to live your life afterwards. But now, if you say that, you have to continue to live with that going on in the background, with this potential extra drama. I don't know if you could be asked for that in your life. That's totally up to you. But now I'm going to turn this one to you guys. What do you guys make of this situation? Let us know your thoughts down in the comments below. Now, just a huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for getting involved in today's stories. Your love, your support, your time always means the absolute world to me. So thank you so much for being involved. Truly, it's absolutely amazing. And I will see you in the next one. Take care and much love.